You are scrolling at midnight. Someone posts a birthday dinner. Someone posts a gym mirror. Someone posts a blurry sunset with a caption about growth. And then there is you. Your camera roll is full. Your thoughts are loud. Your life is happening. But your profile stays quiet. No announcement, no update, no proof. People notice that. They ask why you never post. They assume you are shy, or private, or hiding something. But what if they are wrong? What if your silence online is not emptiness? What if your mind simply refuses to turn every real moment into something for an audience? Because people who never post online are not always disconnected. Sometimes they are paying attention to something everyone else missed. Here is the part people usually get wrong. Not posting is one behavior, but it does not have one meaning. For one person, it is peace. For another, it is control. For someone else, it is fear wearing a calm face. Mark Leary, a psychologist at Duke University, studied how people manage the impression they give others. He showed that much of social life is quiet performance. You do not only communicate, you edit how you are seen. Online, that editing becomes constant. A photo is never just a photo. It becomes evidence. A caption becomes a signal. A silence becomes suspicious. So when someone stops posting, the real question is not why they disappeared. The better question is what part of being seen started to feel too expensive. Sometimes the silence is control. Not control in a cold way. Control in the sense of keeping your life yours. You are at dinner. Someone lifts their phone before the food is touched. Everyone leans in. Someone says, "Wait, let me get one." And for a second, the moment changes shape. It is no longer just laughter, warm plates, and someone telling a ridiculous story. Now it is content. Now it can be judged. Now people who were not there get to decide what it meant. This is where your mind pulls back. Mark Leary at Duke University called this impression management. In his work on self-presentation, he showed that people constantly adjust how they appear to others, especially when acceptance is at stake. Online, that adjustment can become exhausting, because once you post something, you lose full ownership of it. Other people add meanings. They read your face. They read who liked it. They read who was there. They read who was not. A harmless picture can become a tiny public document, and some minds hate that feeling. Not because they are ashamed, because they can feel the social machinery turning. They know a post can become an invitation for strangers, coworkers, old friends, and half-close relatives to build a version of them. A version that may be flatter than the real person. So they choose not to feed it. They let the moment exist without turning it into proof. That silence can look mysterious from the outside, but inside, it can feel clean. No audience to manage, no comments to decode, no invisible pressure to make life look coherent. For this type of person, privacy is not a wall. It is a way of protecting complexity. They are not trying to disappear from people. They are trying to stop people from turning them into a simple story. Then there is the person who used to post. A lot. Their coffee, their trips, their late-night thoughts, their face in good lighting when life finally looked stable. At first it felt harmless, maybe even creative. Then something shifted. You took a photo of a beautiful moment, but before you felt it, your mind started editing it. Which angle looks best? Which caption sounds casual but not too needy? Will people think this is impressive? Will one person notice? And suddenly, the moment was not happening anymore. You were standing outside it, packaging it. Brené Brown, a researcher at the University of Houston, has spent years studying shame and vulnerability. Her work shows that real vulnerability requires uncertainty. You cannot fully control how it lands. But social media often sells a safer imitation of vulnerability, a polished confession, a curated mess, a soft-lit version of struggle that still protects the image. For some people, that gap becomes unbearable. They can feel the difference between sharing and performing. They can feel when honesty has started auditioning for approval. So they stop. Not because they hate connection, because they miss the kind that does not need witnesses. They want a birthday to be a birthday, a walk to be a walk, a hard week to stay messy and unnamed. This is authenticity burnout, not a clinical label, a human fatigue, the exhaustion of turning yourself into a version people can quickly understand. And when this person goes quiet, it may not be sadness, it may be relief. They are letting life become private again. Not perfect. Private. There is a difference. Some people do not post because they are watching. Not in a creepy way, in a pattern-reading way. You see it in group chats. Someone sends a joke. Someone reacts too quickly. Someone ignores it, then posts somewhere else. Someone always appears when attention is available. Most people just scroll past. But your mind notices. Who needs to be seen? Who pretends not to care? Who performs confidence when they feel shaky? Who disappears when the room gets too real? Timothy Wilson, a psychologist at the University of Virginia, studied how limited our self-knowledge can be. His work on introspection showed that people often explain their own behavior with stories that sound reasonable, even when the true reasons are hidden from them. That matters online. Because social media is full of confident explanations. People say they are posting just for fun, just for memories, just to share. And sometimes that is true. But sometimes your mind sees the extra layer, the need underneath the caption, the loneliness underneath the flex, the anger underneath the joke, the plea underneath the thirst trap. When you notice those layers, posting can start to feel strange. You become aware of the game while everyone else is still playing it. So you stay quiet. You observe before entering. You think before reacting. You let other people reveal patterns they may not even see in themselves. That can make you seem distant. But distance is not always judgment. Sometimes it is attention with the volume turned down. But not every quiet profile comes from freedom. This is the darker part. Sometimes you do want to post. You write something, you delete it, you rewrite it, you change one word. Then you imagine one person reading it the wrong way. A coworker, an ex, a cousin who always has comments. Someone who knows just enough about your life to misunderstand it confidently. So you close the app. Nothing goes up. And everyone calls you private. But inside, it was not privacy. It was threat detection. Robert Cialdini, a psychologist at Arizona State University, showed how strongly people look to others for cues about what is acceptable. He called this social proof. Online, social proof becomes visible. Likes, views, comments, silence. All of it becomes feedback. And for some minds, that feedback feels too sharp. Mark Leary's work on self-presentation helps explain why. When people believe they are being evaluated, they start managing the image before the interaction even happens. That is self-presentational pressure. It is the feeling that you must become understandable before anyone sees you. So the quiet is not peaceful, it is protective. You are not refusing attention, you are avoiding the possible cost of being misread. This is why two people can have identical blank profiles for opposite reasons. One feels free, one feels trapped. From the outside, both look silent. Inside, one is choosing, the other is bracing. And this is where it gets complicated. Because not posting does not automatically mean depth, and posting does not automatically mean shallowness. Some people share online with real generosity. They let others feel less alone. They document joy. They build community. They make ordinary life visible in a way that matters. And some quiet people are not mysterious at all. They are just afraid, detached, or silently measuring everyone else while never risking anything themselves. The behavior is not the identity. That is the trap. Social media makes fragments look like whole people. A post becomes a personality. A blank profile becomes a theory. A story becomes evidence. A pause becomes a diagnosis. Cialdini's social proof works because humans are built to scan the group. We look for cues. We guess what things mean. But online, those guesses harden too quickly. You see a loud person and assume neediness. You see a quiet person and assume peace. Both can be wrong. The deeper question is not whether you post, it is whether your online self still leaves room for your real one. So maybe the real question is not why you never post. Maybe the real question is what your silence protects. Is it calm? Is it control? Is it the fear of being turned into a version you did not choose? Is it the simple pleasure of having a life that does not need witnesses to become real? Only you know which silence is yours. Because a quiet profile can be a locked door. It can also be an open window with the lights turned off. You're not invisible. You're trying to keep one room private. You are not empty. You are protecting something that still feels real when no one is watching. If this described you, comment one word below: calm, control, fear, or freedom. And if you want the next layer, subscribe. The next video explains the psychology of people who over-explain themselves, even when nobody asks them to.